Now more Good Day Dakota on KX News.
Welcome back at 6:36. The National Weather Service's Climate Prediction Center recently released its winter outlook.
That's right, and in this week's Weatherwise, meteorologist Stone Schaefer is going over some of the trends and the details from this phenomenon. Stone?
Yeah, with the Climate Prediction Center releasing their winter outlook recently, just over the last week, I wanted to take a look at some of the details they have, maybe some trends we could pick out, and much more. So to start off, what are we in right now? Well, we're in a La Nina watch. The Climate Prediction Center is anticipating a transition from INSO neutral to La Nina, likely from September to December. We're already seeing that transition, and for La Nina to last really through at least March before transitioning back to INSO neutral for the time we get into next summer. So what does that mean for us? Well, what is La Nina? Well, La Nina is where our trade winds that normally blow from the east to the west, they blow a little bit harder in a La Nina year. That helps push that warm surface water that's mostly at the equator out quickly into the Pacific Ocean, pulling some of that colder, deeper water up to the surface, having an impact on us here in the United States. So what is that impact? Well, we're looking at cooler conditions across the north. You're looking at wetter conditions out there in the far west, northwest. Dry and warm conditions in states like Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, and then wetter conditions just south of the Great Lakes region. So it does have an impact all across the country and not just us here in North Dakota. So I want to take a look. I collected the sea surface temperature data in Celsius at 0. It's right around 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and we can see that downward trend about 0.5 below zero and 1 below zero as we get through the rest of the winter. That tells us we're trending towards that sort of weaker La Nina. So I went back and collected a bunch of other sea surface temperature data. This is this year's data. As we see, we get below zero if it's for June through September and August through October, and found years that we had similar sea surface temperatures to see if we could pull out something that's sort of an outlier, if there's a trend. And what we find is there's not really a trend based on those sea surface temperature anomalies. We're looking at 1962 to 1963, we had 21 inches of snow. That was ranked 124th out of 139. And really, 1983 to 1984, we got 66.5. That ranked 13th all time. So we really don't see a trend when we look at our sea surface temperatures to see how much snow we could see across the state. A very similar year as well was 2017 to 2018 to what we have right now, and that was right around 44.1 inches of snow. That ranked around 50th. So when we look at the CPC's winter precipitation outlook, it does show areas in the Great Lakes a little bit wetter expected, up to the northwest being a little bit wetter. For us, we're in that area of equal chances of being wetter or drier. When it comes to snow, I expect us to be more than what we had last year, but quite a bit less than that extreme year we had 2 winters ago, and then being a little bit drier conditions down to the south. So if you have family there, expect a dry winter. When it comes to the Climate Prediction Center's temperature outlook for December through February, we have cooler conditions across the north, including North Dakota. Reminder, averages for our highs get down to the 30s, so we could expect a cooler winter across much of the north, including us here. And remember to continue to send in your questions so I can answer them here weekly on Weatherwise.
And you can do so by heading on over to kxnet.com, clicking on Weather, then Weatherwise.
And there you will see a link that will let you submit any of those questions you might have for Stone.
And stay with us, there's plenty ahead on Good Day Dakota, including the story